Let us start.
Okay. Sir, we'll start. Yagnesh bhai, we will start.
Yes, I am ready, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay. Good morning, dear members. Today's faculty, Yagnesh sir, good morning. And
Good morning.
seniors,
Good morning.
and seniors and committee members of Malad Chamber. It's a great pleasure in welcoming you to today's 15th study circle meeting of Malad Chamber. Maybe last of my tenure.
Let us start.
Today we are fortunate that Yagnesh sir is available to share his wisdom on the subject. Technical law compliances.
Yes.
From the auditor's perspective. Yes, sir. Okay. Good morning. Technical law compliances. Today's faculty, Yagnesh sir, good morning.
Good morning.
Seniors and committee. Yagnesh bhai has a very vast knowledge about the subject. Welcoming you to today's 15th day. He's a trainer for IFRS, very well-known personality. His 1018th lecture. We are fortunate that Yagnesh sir is available to share his wisdom on the subject. Technical law compliances.
Yes.
From the auditor's perspective. Okay. Good morning. Technical law compliance. Morning.
Good morning.
Seniors and committee. Yagnesh bhai, Rajan bhai, there is some disturbance.
हाँ डिस्टर्बन्स છે ક્યાંક
राजन भाई
हाँ
डिस्टर्बन्स છે YouTube નું પેલું ઓફ કર દો YouTube નું
अच्छा
कर
हाँ
दो
हाँ YouTube ક્લોઝ કરી શકું ને હું
YouTube म्यूट कर दो YouTube
हाँ YouTube ને હિસાબે થતો હશે
રિપીટ થાય છે વો ટાઈમ
એક સેકન્ડ
Rajan bhai, there is some disturbance.
हाँ ये डिस्टर्बન્સ છે ક્યાંક YouTube એક સેકન્ડ YouTube નું ક્યાંથી ક્લોઝ કરું
YouTube નું પેલું ઓફ કર દો
अच्छा हाँ
Repeat
YouTube ક્લોઝ કરી શકું ને હું હા તમે કરો ને કોર્સ છો તો કરો ને YouTube નું ક્લોઝ કોણ કરે છે ક્લોઝ મને અહીંયા ફાવતું નથી દેખાતું નથી YouTube ને હિસાબે થતો હશે હા
રિપીટ થાય છે વો ટાઈમ
એક સેકન્ડ
થયું
આ YouTube નું આવ્યું અહીંયાથી એને ક્લોઝ જ કરું ને YouTube ને સીધું હા YouTube ક્લોઝ કર્યું
ઓકે ના
હા હવે બરાબર આવે છે
હવે બરાબર છે ઓકે સો વીલ સ્ટાર્ટ
હા
so welcome Yagnesh sir.
Namaskar ji.
Welcome you.
Good morning.
All our members, committee members, seniors in the profession. We are fortunate that today you are available to share your wisdom. I will request our committee member Jaideep Sonpal to formally introduce today's faculty. Jaideep bhai, please.
It's my privilege to introduce Yagnesh bhai. He is a qualified chartered accountant and CPA from USA. He has been practicing since August 1983 and has vast knowledge of audit of corporate and taxation matters. Actively associated with the activities of Institute of Chartered Accountants. He has been IFRS trainer for certified course of Ind AS conducted by Institute of Chartered Accountants. And he has been trainer for diploma in IFRS examinations conducted by ACA of UK. He has composed and delivered e-lectures for accounting standards for Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. He has been a speaker on accounting and auditing standards at various seminars of Institute. Also delivered motivational speeches at various national conventions and students conferences between April 2009 till date, and recently awarded as icon of 2021 of Mumbai City by Times Group. He has been co-opted member of Accounting Standard Board of ICAI, and he is having hobby of comparing music shows also. He has taken part in half marathons. So overall, multi-dimensional personality is with us. And over to you, Yagnesh bhai now.
This is Narendra Mehta. Yagnesh, 1 second.
Oh, Narendra bhai, કેમ છો?
Fine, fine.
Good.
I think you have not added one additional qualification of Yagnesh. Yagnesh is a Mogambo of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, you know. All the best, Yagnesh.
થેન્ક યુ નરેન્દ્રભાઈ, થેન્ક યુ. વેરી
Very
કુલ, અમારા બહુ જૂના મિત્ર છે. અંધી સ્ટડી મને બોલતો કરનાર નરેન્દ્રભાઈ અંધેરી સ્ટડી સર્કલમાં, ઈ સ્ટડી સર્કલમાં he pushed me as a speaker. He grew me as a speaker. And today I'm glad that I am speaking before my guru Narendra Bhai Mehta, chartered
Very
accountant.
good, sir.
Yagnesh MCTC is my baby, you know.
Tell me, how many people
Yeah.
have you?
1991, we started this with Ramesh Majitia. I was a president of MCTC way back in 1991.
That's great.
Anyhow, go ahead.
Yes, yes, thank you.
Sir,
Thank you, thank you. Sorry, somebody saying something?
yes, sir. On behalf of Malad Chamber, we are pleased to offer you this memento. We will have it delivered to you, sir. Thank you. And we are all eagerly waiting to listen to you, sir.
सर, ये मेमेंटो तो मेरे लिए इंटेंजिबल एसेट्स होगा.
Yes, sir.
अमोर्टाइज नहीं होगा, मगर मेरी जहन में इमोर्टलाइज हो गया. So it will never be impaired also. Thank you so
Yes,
much,
sir. Thank you, sir.
President Prajapati sir, who has been a very good friend of mine. And sir, आपका आदेश सर आंखों पे, always, anytime and anytime, anywhere.
Yes, you are with us, sir.
Thank you so much. And I also acknowledge the past president and the very recent one being the Janak Bhai Wagani, then Janak Bhai Wagani, then Viresh Bhai, and then our good old Narendra Bhai. Thank you so much for inviting. And इत्तेफाक की बात ये है कि this is my a year back I was delivering lecture with you all on 18th of June, and that was my 870 lecture. तो मुझसे रहा नहीं गया, and I feel like starting on कुछ this अंदाज में. अगर प्रजापति सर, अगर आपकी इजाजत हो तो कुछ सुरीले अंदाज में मैं मेरी ये सेशन की शुरुआत करने जा रहा हूँ. Can I have your
Yes, sir.
permission,
Please, please, sir. Go ahead. Please, sir.
यहीं पर कहीं यही वो जगह है, यही वो फिजा है, यही पर कभी आप हमसे मिले. यही वो जगह है, यही वो फिजाएं, यही पर कभी आप हम. चलिए सर, आई होप यू लाइक्ड इट सर.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Very
sir.
much.
इसको और भी आगे खींचते थे मेरे, but at this point of time I must admit one thing, that I am शुक्रगुजार of Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. The present president, Mr. Nihar Jambu Siraji, who is a very good friend of mine, and the vice president. At the same time, the chairman of Accounting Standard Board, Mr. MP Vijay Kumar, and the vice chair, Dr. Sanjeev Singhal. Institute is making unstinted efforts for imparting knowledge through the e-portals. And I must tell you something, the kind of support we get from the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India by way of the free, many webinars are free, and free literature like educational material and guidance note and all these is immense, is invaluable. So my first request to you, please try and read the guidance note as much as you can, because we tend to lose sight of this material. And I can tell you, right from giving a simple certification of even certification for the turnover or the export turnover, or even some kind of a certification for the Export Promotion Council, there are templates and instances as to how one should give these certificates. So friends, do visit ICAI site and do that. And I acknowledge the materials on which my today's presentation is based. That is the guidance note on Caro, then implementation of the internal control, MCA website, and few people from my office, without which help it would not have been done. I am not a complete man like Ravens, and I always take help from others, and we have to always admit others' help. Uh, Known as self-made man. Fine. So, friends, today we're going to deliberate about the compliance with the Companies Act from the perspective of the audit. Friends, we've seen that in the body of our audit report, there are certain references of the Companies Act. In the Caro, there are references of certain Companies Act, certain provisions of the Companies Act. Friends, I realize that. Internally we have done about the research of 50 private companies audit report, and besides the publication issued by the Accounting and Assurance Board of ICI and FRRB, and if you read those things, it will be very eye-opening and educating, and it will be an education learning curve for all of us. Friends, thoda samay nikali, please find out some time and read those materials. Those are having volcano of knowledge, and the common mistakes which we normally make, we should will I'm sure will it will help avoid such mistakes in future. uh, of course, I know that I have to deliver on the Companies Act, but the dil hai ki manta nahi. I want to tell you something about some common errors made by the by some practitioners, and try and they use the word as certified by the management. As certified by the management. Bhagwan ke liye, please don't use this word, because if this is the this is the approach we are going to have it, then let everything be certified by the management, and our rule will be limited to just simply relying on such statements. And why am I saying this? Because there have been cases going on in the DC for using such words emphasis. So please, friends, avoid it. Well, I do have sympathy for our small and medium practitioners and small and medium enterprises also, because as far as small and medium practitioners are concerned, they think they treat as an accountant, mukadam, everything and anything which has to do with the Companies Act, with the audit, with the tax audit, with the disclosure, with the rectification of error, passing, correcting journal entries. They expect everything from us. But the worst part is that they always come at the last moment. If the last date, and their first question now, everyone is getting a question, sir, abhi date extend hui ki nahi? That's their main concern. And if the date is 31st July, they'll turn up on 15th of July. If date is 30th September, they'll again turn up 20th of September, and they expect everything to do that. But we need to take one call. We need to educate our client and tell them, look, my dear friend, this is where you have to be very careful, and please do. The Sir, am I supposed to आवाज धीमो छे? Okay, okay, thank you. The moderator, sir. Now કેવો છે અવાજ? Hello.
બરાબર છે, perfect sir.
ના ના,
Perfect,
someone
perfect.
said અવાજ ધીમો છે, તો it's my duty to speak, be little louder. Okay.
No, perfect.
Perfect, thank you. તો આવા જરા મેસેજ જરા હોય તો મને કહેતા રહેજો, because then I will not be focusing on chat. Okay, please. હા ને, chat જરા તમે કહીને મને update કરતા રહેજો. Okay, fine. All right. So we need to always, inculcate some kind of a discipline in the client, and then avoid the last minute rush and all this. Recently, the breaking news day before yesterday, the company's accounting rules 2014 have been announced, and these are in line with the new threshold limit for the small and medium enterprises firms. But this will be applicable for accounting year beginning on or after 1st April 2021. So nothing to do with financial year 21 March ending. It is only for the current financial year 21-22. Okay, now, sir, the very important paragraph which is in the body of the Companies Act and all this. Just wait. I put some reminders here also, and this is with reference to a very specific request by your president Prajapati sir, that he said because I have shared one anecdote with him. So he said, Yagnesh bhai, please why don't you share this anecdote with our members as well? So dosto, आपकी खातिर I'm sharing this anecdote. So many people say that we also believe that where institute or where the ROC or for that matter the Ministry of Corporate Affairs has time to look at the financial statements of small and medium enterprise private limited company. छोटी और मझली कंपनी के लिए देखने को उनके पास कहाँ समय है? But no, they have summer or not, they have time or not, we have to be on the toes. I give an example here, and the mistake is very, very immaterial otherwise. Mostly the cases which are coming to the DC disciplinary committee are because of some kind of disputes amongst or between the members or the directors of the company. When everything is going well, no issue. But when something goes wrong, even the small, or I would say the so-called small matter becomes a very significant and very important for our career. A small errors, kind of error. This private limited company has got some list investment in the listed companies known as the quoted investments. Now, hurriedly the error was in the notes to accounts concerning the quoted investments. The auditor has to give the two numbers after the schedule. Aggregate value, market value of the quoted investment, aggregate cost of the quoted investment. Unfortunately, the both numbers were same. And if anyone looks at the number kind of investments made, those were in the blue chip companies. So obviously, the investment, the market value in this investment was definitely more than the cost. It was very obvious, but anyway, somehow the mistake was there. And then this matter was taken up by the ROCMCA, and then he had to pay a huge price for that in the sense of compounding of whatever it may be. So point is that don't think that koi dekhne wala nahi hai. I mean, that should not be our maqsad. I understand we are working in the stairs, people are sometimes not, the staff is not available, they are leaving, exam leaves, these that, all said and done. But sir, there's a saying, ultimately it's a question of our degree, it's a question of our reputation, and beyond anything else is a question of our self-esteem. So please try and pay some attention. Now if you go to the very first paragraph, you go to see very first important thing which is obvious in the main body of the audit report is as per the rule 11 of the auditors and audit companies rule 2014, and this requirement is as per that the whether the company has disclosed the impact if any of the pending litigations on its financial statement, so friends, despite the fact that there are disclosures in the disclosures in the contingent liability, and it's very obvious that some, and even the public media. I give the example of a listed company where the case was going on in Bombay, and it was very clear, um, it was covered in the public media widely, despite the fact um, um, the auditor failed to do so. Now, what is our duty? What is our duty, sir? So there are three paragraphs. And even the second paragraph, in COVID-19, very few companies are making such disclosure. And if you go to see, unfortunately, people think that it is mainly for the derivative contracts. But my dear friend, it is not only it includes derivative contracts but not limited to derivative contracts. So, so where the company has made any provision as required under any law or accounting standards, so it does not talk only about the law but even accounting standards, and there you have to make the provision and pursuant to for the liabilities and the contingent liabilities also for material foreseeable losses. In COVID-19, many companies were forced to incur some kind of a losses. So even those should have been taken into account, and at least what we are supposed to do, simply say yes or no, that's it. As far as second para is concerned, now let's see, I've discussed somewhere the auditor has not much no opinion, nothing, no, as far as first part is concerned about the impact of any litigation on the financial position in its financial statements. Simply he has to say the company has done or not only. And if I know, sir, in small and medium companies, they expect us only to prepare the notes to the accounts, and I think we should guide them, we should help them to please do so. All they need to simply say that this has a material impact or not. Sir, वो जो है fact, इसे केवल बयां करना है आपको. You're not supposed to quantify anything. This is one area I find it missing in the many states, and I want this session to be very vocal and interactive. And now I'm inviting on the hot seat Narendra Bhai. Narendra Bhai, I am inviting on the hot seat, so kindly please unmute himself. I want to hear from him his experience, my veteran chartered accountant brother. Narendra Bhai, show abhi there. Is Narendra Bhai there, please? Moderator, can you please unmute him? Hello. Hello. Prajapati Bhai? Excuse
हाँ जी
me.
हाँ
Any member would like to share his experience here? I'd like him or her to share the experience, and then I want others to be benefited by the wisdom of the other participants, members of the Malad Chamber of Tax Consultants. Could share, sir?
I think Narendra Bhai is not there.
Not
जी,
there.
नरेंद्र भाई is
Viren
not
Bhai,
there, हाँ.
Viren Bhai, कोई तुम्हारा कोई ने कोई member है, they want to be vocal about their experience, because I believe that this kind of experience is not the prerogative, only the prerogative of the speaker, but others also can have the share. Hello. Nine? Okay, fine. As far as second note is concerned, I think you should make some note. And as far as the third part is concerned, many people are under the impression that Section 125 is applicable only to the unpaid dividend and all these, but rather it is covering so many items of the under the act. Which, so in case there are any unpaid or something, please make mention of it. This is covered in the caro as well, but be careful about it, sir. And now I have seen, sir, in certain audit reports and all this, I'm going to come to some interesting anecdotes little later. They're like deposits, exceptions of deposit, and Section 185 and 186, which we comment in the caro in the companies in an audit report. So many in good old times, it was okay just to mention Section 133 of the Companies Act, but after the announcement of the Indian Accounting Standard Rules 2015, that is in days, one has to be very clear, and in defining the gap, or in defining the accounting standards which have been followed by us. And here I would say, request to the members, don't simply mention that Section 133, just rather mention this, that it is which standard, Companies Accounting Rules 2014 or the Companies Indies. And this has been added just recently by me today. Friends, many companies are following in the category 1 or category 2, the small and medium enterprises firm. Friends, in case of a private limited company, I'm yet to come across, in case of private limited companies, and where especially when they are the small and medium enterprises or the small and medium companies, SMCs, I find this kind of a note missing. So please do mention this note, that the company is a small and medium sized company as defined by blah blah blah, because in that case you don't need to be specific about the fact that which standards have been claimed exemption by the entity, by the auditee, but do mention this in your audit report, and this will improve the quality of your audit report, besides making things very clear to the reader, hey, this is a small and medium company. So till maybe last year, that is till 2021, the small and medium enterprises classification or the threshold limits was not changed, um, from the perspective of the corporate entities, but now for the financial year 22, many companies will fall in category 2 and category 3, because very generously the threshold limits have been increased from 50 crores to 250 crore rupees. Prajapati sir also has asked me to dwell upon one small thing. He says, sir, on the in March 21, Accounting Standard Board has announced some 4 categories of the small and medium enterprises, small and medium non company entities. I repeat the word because it's the first time they used the word non-company rather than non-corporate, because they didn't want to cover the they didn't want to cover the LLP here. LLP is considered as a corporate entity pursuant to Section 3 of the LLP Act. Uh, so there, these four categories, these classifications, level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, are only meant for non-company entities, meaning partnership firm, association of persons, then proprietary concerns, then HUF and all these. So those limits definitely are applicable for financial year, for the financial statements prepared on or after 1st April March 20. So 31 मार्च 2021 में 31 मार्च 2021 this four categories of level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4 will be applicable only to non-company entities. That means for the financial year ending 21, the for the year ending 31st March 2021, you will still apply the category 1, 2, 3, which was given erstwhile under the accounting standards. All right, sir. So this you one should always make. And section 197, of course, is never applicable, is not applicable to the private companies. So, but this is requirement in the main body of the report. So then you should comment like this: based on Audit, we report that the provisions of section 197 rate which shall file to the Companies Act are not applicable to the company, and this is how your reporting should be done. Well, then again, 197 is not applicable to government company, and it's also not applicable to the international financing service company also. So this was about the requirement which is there, which is covered in the main body of the our audit report. And then also, sir, you tell me, sir, how many of us are getting this declaration from the management that the none of the directors are not disqualified under section 1664(2) of the Companies Act. So this also should form part of your management's representation letter. Um, uh, Prajapati sir,
Yes, sir.
if you just but bear with me for just 1 week's time, and
Hmm.
maybe I'll share one management representative letter
Okay.
for these private limited company,
Alright.
which will be of great help to the members, because
Okay.
and it should be the same date. It should bear the same date as the date of the audit report. I mean, if your audit report is dated, say, 10th of July, then the MR should be 10th of July only, and it should not be 11th July. So I'll share with you this thing, and if possible, a standard audit report for these small and medium companies, sir.
Please, sir.
Allow me some time
Yes,
for
sir.
that, because I mean, back to back, there are sessions lined up from next Monday, including some board meetings and all this. Now, this is a very important thing about the reporting on the internal finance control, So, this is definitely not applicable to the one-person company, small company, where the turnover is less than. So, here in this case, you should make a declaration like this if it is not applicable. So, this is one sample reporting that. Um, the company's turnover does not exceed rupees 50 crore and all this. So we can say that this is not applicable. Sir, I'm sure we must have all heard the small companies, small and medium enterprises, small and medium price and companies also. But the smaller company word has been very first time used by the ICI, and back in August 2016, I remember Mr. Sharma was Central Council member Sharma was from Jaipur, and he had unveiled that publication. Thereafter, it has not been updated. Prajadev, sir, you also had mentioned about to disclose something about the uh, change in the threshold limit of the companies, small companies. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So this limit earlier, subsection 85 of section 2 of the Companies Act was defining the small company. The paid up capital upper limit was capped to 2 crore rupees, no, 50 lakhs rupees, and the turnover was capped to 2 crore rupees. The initially when this act was introduced, they had used the word or, but later on उन्होंने कर दिया and. So So 50 lakhs paid up capital and the turnover to 2 rupees. But now they've extended this limit of the paid up capital to about 2 crore rupees and turnover to 20 crore rupees. And besides, for the 1% company, there is no upper limit. So 1% company will be considered as a small company. And I think, sir, one should make the most of the 1% company. This is one area कुछ चीजें प्रजापति सर ने कहा कि टिप्स एंड बिट्स जरा डालते रहिएगा सर. So that's why I'm making some addition of the items which you've been requested by your president, sir, to include there. Now, about the small companies, or sorry, smaller companies, there's a guidance note, and this guidance note is dating back to 2016. So, if you go to see, the act is giving a exclusion. Act is giving that exclusion of section 143 133I, that is concerning the comment by the auditor on the internal control over the financial reporting. This has been explicitly given in the act. But besides that, ICI has given one more guidance that suppose if that is applicable, suppose the turnover is still more than 50 crore rupees, and it is not meeting, it is breaching this threshold limit. इसके दायरे में नहीं आते और वो threshold limit भी cross कर दिए. For example, turnover is 100 crore rupees. Or maybe the borrowings are about say more than 25 crore rupees. But then, do you mean to say you to then issue a detailed, comprehensive report on the internal financial control? No, here the if the company is closely held, if the company is closely held and they closely manage in the kind of a family company, then I think it should be considered as a smaller company. And see, friends, I always believe in giving credit to the person who is helping us. So, Miss Meghna, the secretary of the AASB board, and the co-opted member CA Gaurang Parikh, he's from Vadodara. He inquired and he told me that this publication is not revised. And so then I asked her, ma'am, then what to do? So in that case, she mentioned to me that one can refer to the illustrations number 4 in the revised SA 700, in the revised SA 700. And this is SA 700, as you know, that is revised from April 2017. But friends, ये एक area है जहाँ पे if you go to see, the illustration has been given in that particular statement publication, but the placement of this paragraph will undergo change, because from 1st April 2017 ये ऐसे 700 बदल गया है, ऐसे 700 has been changed. So this, just keep in mind about the small thing. Okay, sir, and this is one area. This is one area of 185 and 186 and section 73 to 76 related to the deposits by the private company and the eligible company, that's a listed company. But friends, क्योंकि हमारा क्षेत्र मर्यादित रखा है, small and medium enterprises, I am not going to comment much about the public company, listed companies, because they have a lot of resources and all this. Here I'm talking about this thing. So how many of you have really gone into deep and seen, read section 185 and 186 and match with the balance sheet of the company and then say that everything is done, is okay or not? MCA has done some research and they say that about 80% of the private companies, private companies, about caro reporting are not commensurate to this thing. And mainly sir problem होती है यहाँ पे deposits की, because deposit standards have become very stringent. About Despite the fact that about 60 to 70% of the items of the deposits are more or less same as with the company's acceptance deposits rule 1975, but जो नया है उसका compliances काफी poor है. So we all know that 185 section does not permit loan directly or indirectly to the directors of the company. Uh, but sir, but there is one provision which allows the company to give loan to certain category of people. And friends, let me see whether it's working or not. Ji sir, uh, uh, president sir, can you see this on the screen, sir, the word file? President, sir? Hello? Guys, can you see the Word file?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay. So the wording of this section is such that any director, the person in whom the director is interested, a company cannot give loan. I am not bringing income tax aspect of the deemed dividend here, which is most devastating. And that should be because a director could be holding more than 10% shares in the company, and thereby he would be deemed as a substantial shareholder. Okay. Now here, no company should directly, indirectly give this. That's fine. In which anyone, but under some circumstances, by passing a special resolution, you can give this loan to the the person in whom the director is interested. So this is one area where a company may advance loan 185(2), including any loan and reference to the book value of this thing, loan taken by the person, any person in whom the director or the company is interested, subject to the conditions. So company should pass a special resolution. You can definitely give loan to the persons in whom the directors are, other people are interested, and those they have made very clearly that for that purpose the person related is very limited category. So they say for the purpose of this subsection, the expression any person in whom any of the director is interested means any private company of which such director is a director. So you can definitely give loan despite being the very restrictive covenants in the very first sentence, because normal parlance, when people think that yes, a private limited company cannot give loan to another private limited company wherein the director is interested or he's a director of that company, any bought properties, and this will so this is very important, sir. Passing a special resolution is very important, sir. So you can definitely give loan to a company in which the director is also interested. Conditions apply. Please pass this, because in three of the companies, the cases where we found the loan was given by the company to the another company wherein the director was also director, and there was some kind of a remark in the Caro report that company has infringed these things. Of course, um, uh, company has infringed on some other ground, but what he said, it was not complied with the provisions of the 185. Of course, when he was asked in grill about this, he said this is not permitted in section 185, but actually the reason was something else. The real reason which he should have quoted, that the company has not taken the permission by way of this special resolution. So friends, this is this is one area you must read very well, sir. So don't simply just for sake of saying that 185 cannot give. So be careful about this thing and known in the business comp. Now one more thing, sir. Uh, um, one just a minute, sir, please. Just a minute. Just a minute. Just a minute. Loan can be definitely given to the whole-time director and the managing director. Sarji, there are some messages. Rajan bhai, are there messages? I'm supposed to look at the message.
Hello. One message is there.
Yeah.
Sir, please also explain the penal consequences of not been following the section of companies.
Okay. For I would appreciate that, but then here just was the main broad compliances. There are many, uh, and they are actually. I do agree with you, but if you want, I can send another slide of mine, which is covering and talking purely from the compliances from the Companies Act point of view, like section 73, 76, section 185, 186, 180, 188, and all this. I will definitely share these PPTs with you, which gives the complete consequences of not following these certain standards, certain acts and provision. So whoever just can you unmute the gentleman who has asked this query? Hello. आप बताएंगे?
हाँ, यस सर, कर रहा हूँ, उनको अनम्यूट कर रहा हूँ।
अरे जरा उनको भी मैं
हाँ,
कहूँ और उनसे बात करना चाहता हूँ सर।
हाँ जी सर।
सर
हाँ, टैक्स बार एसोसिएशन जोधपुर से है कोई।
नमस्कार नमस्कार, जोधपुर से है, क्या नाम भैया?
सर रोहित जैन, चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट।
सॉरी कम अगेन।
सीए रोहित जैन।
नमस्कार रोहित जी, आपका प्रश्न बहुत वेदक है, बहुत सचोट है, एंड इट्स वेरी मच टू द पॉइंट, relevant to the point, but that would not have given me time, and because I'm going to discuss some case studies as well, so please, I have taken note of your request, okay, and I'll share through Malad Chamber of Tax Consultant a special slides सिर्फ और सिर्फ आपके लिए, okay?
थैंक यू सो मच।
जिसमें पूरा विवरण है कि ये अगर अगर फॉलो नहीं करते तो क्या, व्हाट आर द repercussions and all this. Now one more thing, sir. You have to think so many things in advance. Okay, जैन साहब, और कुछ पूछना चाहते हैं आप?
नो सर, प्लीज कंटिन्यू।
Okay, thank you. चलिए, thank you so much for being
थैंक यू
open.
सर।
Okay, thank you Rajan ji for this thing. And so mostly private limited company method is not required that there has to be a agreement for the managing director's remuneration. Fine, but I would suggest that you please have an agreement whereby loan की सुविधा दी गई है sir. You provide for the provision for the loans, because if it is approved by the special resolution by the company, then it won't amount to breach of this thing. क्योंकि normally आमतौर पे कहते हैं कि नहीं वो तो MD है ना, so सर्विस कॉन्ट्रैक्ट के हिसाब से देख सकते हैं, but mostly private limited company may, I'm telling you, it's not required as per the law, to as per the act, as per the law, to have such agreement for the MD's appointment, but ये advance में रखेंगे तो it will help you a lot sir. Then एक दूसरी बात बताओ सर, 186 also equally a very important section which lays down two things. A, the limit for which beyond which you cannot give without obtaining the special resolution passed at the general meeting. So advance में in every year you should specify, you should pass a resolution of the company, and एक niche एक elbow room बना के छोड़ दीजिए कंपनी के लिए कि the company can do, because friends, client will not come to you on a daily basis. When a client enters into a transaction, sometimes he has his compulsion, he has his compulsions to do so. Suddenly he has to give loan to someone else, and without realizing, एक बार बताओ कितने भी आपने उनको ईमेल भेजे हैं, कितने भी न्यूज़लेटर भेजे, बट दे आर टेंड टू फॉरगेट अबाउट दिस. देखिए हमें भी कितने ईमेल आते हैं, नाउ थिंग्स आर गेटिंग bombarded, so it's quite possible that he might have forgotten and you might have definitely alerted him, but बावजूद उससे वो शायद भूल जाते हैं. So not his fault, होता है सर, गलती से मिस्टेक हो जाती है. क्या करना सर? प्रावधान करके रख दीजिए. Make a provision for this in the beginning of the year by passing this thing that companies is allowed to make investment beyond this XYZ limits. Now these are the two limits before you: 60% of paid share capital, free reserves, and the security premium, and the maybe 100 or 100% of the free reserves and the security premium. So we know that it may exceed, but that is what you have to take care of it. So here we have to pass check with board meeting resolution is passed or not. There are certain documents of the Companies Act, certain forms which are required under the Companies Act, which we must obtain from the company secretary of the company, like MBP1 form, MBP4 form, which is required, because if the loan has been given to the interested parties, this is MBP4 form is required. Register of the interest parties should maintain. Then sir, 186.4, this compliance is missing out in many things sir. Sorry, it is MBP2 form, and draw attention to 186.4 regarding the disclosure that the full particulars of the purpose for which the loan, guarantee, or the security is proposed to be utilized by the recipient of the loan. So this is required. And one more thing sir, when a loan is given to the related parties and all these, the board report also must be seen there. I'm coming to some other points also. Okay, now this is sir, ये जो area है ना, ये जो area है, it is a very very dangerous area, and many companies Bhaila, Rajan bhai, is there one more chat please? Okay.
No chat.
No, no, no.
Thanks message.
ना ना कोई नहीं भाई, ये तो अपना
हाँ
फर्ज है, बट
हाँ बराबर हाँ
हर
okay.
पार्टिसिपेंट्स की देखते हैं, एंड अगर कुछ होता है तो विल डेफिनेटली हेल्प देम. All this I have ready for me. PPTs are ready, but I'll just fine tune and send it to you. Okay. Now, प्राइवेट लिमिटेड कंपनी 7376 सर, इसके बारे में अगर 6 घंटे का भी सेमिनार रखा जाए तो कम है सर. One full day seminar also is not enough for only, I would say, section 73 of the Companies Act, which is to be read with chapter 5 of the Companies Acceptance of Rules 2014. So this is one area where many companies are making mistake, and I am going to share one live today and which has happened. But let me first complete these 2 slides, and then many companies, many firms, many entities are making a wrong presentation of certain item, disclosure of certain items. Now, companies definitely can borrow up to 100% from the shareholders, but even for the shareholders, one is to take the written representation and all these. But only this companies can private limited company, further relaxation has been provided that private company through the amendment can now accept deposit from the members without any restriction. Now, for this company, there is no restriction on the amount provided it is not an associate company or a subsidiary company. Um, there they should have made some change of a small, other than a small company. Borrowing from the banks, which is more than 50 crores, 50 crore rupees, or twice the paid up share capital. So whichever is less, but less will also definitely help you, because normally private limited company paid up capital we keep it about 1 lakh, 2 lakhs, 3 lakhs, 4 lakhs. So that this could be a limiting factor. But friends, don't forget to see that this इस चीजों को जिक्र किया गया हो बोर्ड रिपोर्ट में. Compliance is a must, sir. So make sure that it is also disclosed in the in the board of the company's board report. Uh, Startup companies with they are given something. So now, if you allow me a minute, I'm going to freeze this my pen and go discuss one live case. I cannot divulge how it was discussed, on which forum it was discussed, and all this. But let me tell you, राजन भाई, किसी की आवाज कहाँ से आ रही? हाँ.
नहीं यहाँ पे तो किसी की नहीं है, एक सेकंड चेक कर लो किसी का माइक. हाँ एक जन का माइक है, उनको म्यूट कर दिया.
Okay. Now, एक minute. I'm just going to share the screen. I'm also going to increase the font size. Can you see the trade receivables item, sir? Can you see the Excel sheet, sir?
यस सर. यस
Now,
सर.
सर, बहुत छोटी कंपनी थी, कुछ बड़ा कारोबार भी नहीं था. बट देखिए, जब बात पहुंच जाती है आरओसी की कंप्लेन पे, एंड सामने वाली पार्टी इज वेरी डिटरमिन्ड टू हैरेस द डायरेक्टर्स, द प्रमोटर्स, उसमें बलि के बकरे बन जाते हैं चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट्स. कोई कसूर नहीं होता है, बट वी आर scam. We become the scapegoat. So trade receivable का schedule था sir. So I'm giving you party's name, and then this was, we say that simply it is F. These were the parties. So this was the schedule, and this is how the trade receivables were presented. This is how the trade receivables were presented. Sir, this has given the picture that the total trade receivables are rupees 11 lakhs 26,000 rupees only. What the entity has done and what was been allowed by the auditor was this figure. They received 1,90,000 rupees from their customers to the tune of 1,90,000 rupees, but which was shoved off in the trade receivable schedule. So ideally, the presentation should have been like this. Now I'll tell you the story behind this. Ideally, it should have been like this. In the first place, accounting standards, if you truly speaks from the accounting standards point of view, what entity has done is a wrong offsetting an item. Offsetting is permitted only in some few related cases, like foreign exchange gains and losses, like cost of an equipment. It is at the stage, or it is this against the accumulated depreciation. Trade receivables are offset against the provision for doubtful debts, but this kind of offsetting is not permissible. बहुत खुन्नस से वो सामने वाली पार्टी पीछे पड़ गई थी. He had put some another very renowned chartered accountant for that, who was pushing it. Then, sir, when they inquire about this 1,90,000 rupees, 1,90,000 rupees, this was the case, say, for example, 2020. I'm just giving a wrong. This was an advance received from the customer on 1st of January 2019. So this amount was an advance received from the customer on 1st of January 2019, and this has breached the rule of the company's acceptance deposit rule, because as per rule 2C, I think it was I don't remember the particular section I said, but rule 2C8 deals with the directors, but this is rule 2C10 or 11, companies acceptance of deposits. This is considered as then this was determined as a deposit, and there were very serious charges on the company management and also on the auditor, because by doing they were deliberately trying to fool around the MCA, and they deliberate attempt to misguide the MCA and give the wrong picture. Because had they mentioned this 1,90,000 rupees on the credit side, which should have been correct, this should have been shown, this should have been presented, not shown on the liability side, sir. So tell me, Prajapati sir, now I'm asking you a question, please, Prajapati sir. How many balance sheet you've seen wherein you'd find this kind of things?
There are, sir.
Huh?
Yeah, there are balance sheets where we don't give the importance of such small things.
Sir, ये such small thing.
Yeah.
क्या होगा? कौन देखने वाला है?
yes, that attitude होता है, चलता है.
चलता है. सर, हमारी ऑफिस में भी हुआ था, सर. मैं नाने कहता हूँ, I am not a complete like Raymond. I am not a complete man like Raymond, sir. And कहाँ ध्यान रखेंगे? But then we have to take a special sessions for this. More so after the Companies Act 2013 and deposits के rule के बारे में, sir. Now, this is not applicable to the builder firm, because for the builder firm, it is not 1 year time, but otherwise a 1 year time. Now, sir, I am going to discuss this one practical example, that in the COVID, after the COVID pandemic and all these, some companies are genuinely facing this problem, In that case, what has happened, sir, that the company has already received the funds from the director. Just a minute, please. Company has already received the funds in advance from the other parties. So in that case, sir, okay. Just a minute, sir. Right, so, and companies has received some advance from the customer, and the balance money is to be received from the. Can you see these slides, sir? Other topics? Can you see one case study, sir? Chairman, sir?
Yes, other topics slide is clearly visible.
Fine, sir. So, in this case, sir, companies received 10%, 25%, whatever money is to be paid by the customer, by the borrower, and the bank has not released the funds, because the bank was supposed to release the funds of 75%, 80%, 60%, whatever maybe the loan amount, they had not released because due to the pandemic situation, the entity could not supply this, and this has really happened. So in this case, we advise to make a very abreast and a very clear statement that though this money was received in advance, because of these reasons we have not received we could not complete also, and we had also at the same time not received the funds from the bank for such towards the final payment for this particular product. सो बी केयरफुल अबाउट दिस इज वन एरिया सर. एक बात है कि वो चीजें भूल जाइए. एंड सर सम पीपल से ओके नाउ यू टेल मी सर देसाई साहब, वो तो होता है सर, चलता है, लाखों में एक केस हुए, मुझे बताइए, इज इट आर दे हैपनिंग सो फ्रीक्वेंटली? नॉट यूजुअली. आई एग्री विथ यू, इट मे नॉट हैपन सो फ्रीक्वेंटली. लाखों में एक ही प्रतिशत होगा, बट जब हमारे साथ होता है ना सब, वो प्रतिशत कुछ मायने नहीं रखते. Then you cannot plead and say no, it have to just one in a lack of case and it has happened with me, so I'm okay. You cannot say like this. चाहे 1% हो या 2% या 5, आप तो उसके शिकार बन गए. So please be very careful about such thing. And okay, so now there is one more thing, sir. There is always a temptation to sometimes convert the loan into the shares. Okay, chalo bhai, let us convert this loan hai and let us convert this into the shares. But friends, you cannot simply convert loan into the shares of any private limited company. I'm talking about private public limited company की बात नहीं कर रहा हूँ, because वहाँ there it is not done, it is not manipulated, it is not managed the way you want to. So in this case, if at all you want to convert any loan into the shares, or any debentures you want to convert into the shares, or any preference shares you want to convert into shares, sir, जब लोन देते हैं, जब लोन लेते हैं, when you take the loan, make sure that you provide you provide for this conversion. वो भले बनने वाला नहीं है, I'm talking about not small loan but the bigger loan. Even if it's not going to happen, just take this precaution that this loan you provide, take the pass the resolution of conversion at a later date. Okay, so you cannot simply convert existing loan into the share unless you have sought a permission by a special register from the company. So please prepare for such kind of contingencies and prepare in advance. This is the way you can plan. For example, as I told you, the planning by way of the investments beyond the limits prescribed under section 186 of the Companies Act. About the private limited company also, sir, when you see any company has raised funds by way of equity shares, there is a requirement under the car also that whether the funds have been utilized by the companies or not, and more so the preferential issues and the private placement. There are some slides which is giving the complete procedures and all this, but I have deliberately named these slides as an auxiliary slides. That means I didn't want to delete those slides giving the complete procedures for the issue of shares, which you are not concerned today though, but फिर भी I've retained those slides. I'm going to just pass through very quickly for this, but for the moment just allow me glass water. Okay, fine. So there is a reference in the Caro reporting also. Now, as far as 314 is concerned, it is there in 2016, and now for the current financial year 21-22, we should be now focusing on Caro 2020, wherein it is covered in the paragraph 10, Roman 10b. So this is giving you a summary of the right issue, preferential allotment, and the private placement. And for this, I give full credit to our company secretary Kavita Joshi and Mega, who had done this, helped me prepare this chart. And here you'll see that where if you want to give shares to outsiders, then there's a private placement. But in both the cases, in the preferential allotment and private placement, make sure that company has earmarked these funds. Company has deposited the proceeds of the shares in a account specially earmarked for debt. A separate bank account for the receipt of money is required. So here in this case, sir, by mistake, and that too by one of the big group also, they made a mistake of transferring these funds into the normal account only also. So please make sure that, and then we'll also see that whether the valuation report is required or not. The valuation report is required, and it was mandatory for both the preferential and the private placement. I would give one piece of advice here, that whenever the company issues the makes the right issues, and that too with the premium, and obviously the whopping premium, which is very sometimes difficult to digest, because I've seen the companies issuing shares. There's a hardly about 3 or 4 years companies, a 3 or 4 years old company, a 10 rupee face value share is being issued at 40,000, 50,000, 60,000 rupees issue price. So the biggest challenge here is from the perspective of the section 56 subsection 2 and I think clause 10, yes, is Roman 10, 56 to 10, say that premium has to be justified, otherwise the assessing officer may treat as an unexplained investment and treat as an income from other sources, not even from business income also, where you can adjust against the losses. So to be careful about such thing, and guard your clients and say that let's take the valuation report from the merchant banker. I believe now there is no categories of merchant banker, class category 1 2 3 ऐसा कुछ नहीं है, but केवल ये है कि you need the valuation certificate of the merchant bankers. So make sure that your client take the merchant banker certificate, to make sure that this premium is not treated as the unexplained income, and this will save your client a huge money. Again, both company secretary Mohatma has shared this, so this you can read at great detail, and that's why I can put the name auxiliary. Okay. Now again, when you try to raise money from the non-resident, make sure that either he gives money from his NRE account or NRO account on from the overseas account. NRE account and or overseas account, you have to file form FCGPR, and at that point of time, it is as mandated by the Reserve Bank of India. One has to take the valuation certificate from the merchant banker, because merchant bankers in this case is mostly will be using the DCF method, and you have to take this thing. But one error could be made here. When you raise money from the NRO account, FCGPR form is not required to be filed, and the valuation report is not required to be filed. But I would still suggest that you do provide for you do take the valuation report in order to guard yourself, your client from the additions under section 56 to 10. But this money is not repatriable. This money is not repatriable. Normally, from NRO account, in a calendar year, April to March, 1 million USD is allowed to be repatriated outside India, provided the account holder has paid the taxes thereon. But this money is not allowed to be permitted even within the limit of 1 million, which is permitted otherwise. So please advise your client to be very careful about that. So this is the procedures normally. Tell me, yeah, about the thing. Sir, you may say, sir, why you are underestimating, sir, and talking about the ADT1 and the first audit and all this. Sir, everyone knows that first auditor is to be appointed by the board within 30 days, and if the board then fail to appoint them within 90 days. But sir, friends, mostly we have seen where we are not forming the company ourselves. I think someone says something. Prajapati sir, you said something?
No, sir. No, sir.
There was some sound, so I thought you wanted to say something. Yeah. Okay, sir. Okay. Everyone knows it, so it's no big deal that it's to be appointed, but mainly in the first board meeting, which is the very standard template, many companies have failed to do so. So be careful that your appointment is being validated, and again you file form EDT1 within 15 days of time. And this is again for the, okay. So now a big illusion, a big illusion and a big uh, wrong impression about the rotation of the audit, a rotation of the auditor. This, though it is being under the pursuant to CA 2013 section 139, many people were under, and this was actually effective from 1st April 2015. 1 year they have kept it, they've delayed while at the time of introduction of this provision. Sir, many people are under the impression that this is not applicable to the private limited company, and it is applicable only to the listed companies. But here we need to see that as far as unlisted companies are concerned, that means it may be a private limited company, sorry, it may be a public limited company but not listed. So in that case, this is required, rotation of audit is required when the paid up capital is more than 10 crore rupees. When it comes to the private limited company, the paid up capital requirement is 25 crore rupees. The limit is high, the paid up capital limit is very high, but the second limit is the 50 crore rupees or more of the borrowings. So, and 50 crores nowadays for is not that big limit, sir. It's not something great that 50 crore कोई बहुत बड़ी बात है. Even the companies having turnover of about 200, 300, 400, 500 crore rupees also can have the borrowings of 50 crore rupees also. So please check this limit, sir. एक बहुत बड़ी उलझन रहती है हमारे में, and this is the about the limits, applicability of the limits, like limits about the small company, limits for the cash flow statements and all these. तो सर ये कहाँ से इतनी चीजें याद रखेंगे? But for this, I think I think WIRC has come out with a very good toolkit, and I'll share this with. Is anyone aware of this, sir? Is anyone aware of, sir? Prajapati ji?
हाँ जी.
Is anyone
No.
aware of this tool which is freely available on the WIRC site?
No, sir, we are not available.
Are you sure, sir?
I don't think so.
आप पूछो तो सही, members को पूछो.
Members, you are available. Are you aware of this? What sir is?
Anand? Is anyone aware of this? Because sir ये जो है ना limits बहुत nagging है sir. It's very nagging. Nagging in the sense परेशान करने वाली है. कि last year and sometimes the turnover. I'm just calling my son Anand. Anand, please share that WRC link for the tools. With me. With you. And then I'll share with the President sir, Prajapati sir.
Yes, sir.
No, email me WhatsApp. Do it right now. I want to do it live.
Sir,
Sir,
in this second proviso, all private limited companies having paid up share capital of rupees 50 crores rupees. So it is 250 crores or?
Yes, sir. Paid up capital below the threshold limit. Okay, now, sir. Hello. Now, all companies having share capital threshold limit A or B, but having the public borrowings from the financial institution, banks, and public deposit of rupees 50 crore. So your capital may be 1 crore rupees only. Paid up capital may be 1 crore rupees or 1 lakh. But if your borrowings from the public deposit and all banks and financial institutions have gone up to 50 crore rupees, cross 50 crores, then you are liable for the rotation of the audit, sir. So
But just immediately, please, prior to this second proviso, all private limited companies having paid up share capital of rupees 50 crores. So it is 250 crores or 20 crores?
Need 25 crore rupees. Here you are at this 139, na sir?
139.
Yeah. It's 25 crore, 25 crore rupees paid up capital, sir.
There is some typing mistake. 50 crores type.
25 crore.
25, na?
Yeah.
Some correction. So 25 crores, right?
Yeah, 25 crore. Yeah.
Members, please
yeah.
correct it.
Okay. Yeah. But sir, main concern is if your borrowings are exceeding, see 25 crore private limited company paid up capital अगर होता तो उसकी borrowing naturally कई गुना ज़्यादा हो जाती.
ज़्यादा ही होगी.
But there are cases where borrowings from the bank is more than 50 crore rupees, and there one has to be very careful.
Very careful.
Because this normally gets crossed immediately. Sir, I can understand that I got a message from someone else. I could see that. now this is also about a listed company and all this. So I read a message that none of have this thing. So this criteria is very, very important, and this tool is so helpful that there are many limits. So first limit is about the small company limit. Second is about the small company, and second about the application of the caro, because the caro limits is also keep on changing, sir. And in caro, one has to remember that all three conditions are to be complied with. uh, and then there is a limit for the internal audit, then there's a limit for the cost audit, then there's a limit for the rotation of the auditor and all these. So sir, these are all sometimes they are related with the paid up capital, sometimes they are related with the borrowing, sometimes they are related with the turnover of the immediate preceding year, sometimes they are related with the previous preceding audited financial statements and all this. So this has become a very nagging very daunting task. So WRC has shared this as and my son Anand is able to share just now with me. And sir, it is now over to you, sir. एक मिनट, हाँ? President sir, I have shared this link with you. It's gone to you, and you share in turn with your members, sir. Hello, Prajapati sir. Can you hear me, sir?
Okay, sir, we'll do. Okay, sir, we'll do.
Okay, fine. So Prajapati sir goes, "Okay, sir, friends, I have shared this with you, and there is one more thing which I am going to share with you. I think is there, and this in this WRC tool, there are many tools concerning the calculation of the accounting ratios, preparation of these cash flow statements, and all these. And this is the commendable job done by the Western India Regional Council of ICI, and kudos to all those people who have contributed in this thing. So Rajanji, please share this with your members. It also gives one more tool for the calculation of the determination of whether the person is a resident or a non-resident. So this is one area where now when it comes to the caro and all these, mostly people are under the impression that it is of course now it is not going to be applicable to small companies, but besides the small company not being a subsidiary of the holding company, having paid capital of rupees 1 crore or more as on the balance sheet date. So sometime there's the limits are linked to the paid up share capital. Sometimes they are linked to the paid up capital and the reserves or the net worth and so. And sometimes borrowing, now borrowing is at any point of time during the year, and as far as the does not have the revenue. Now revenue means the total top line receipts income is concerned, exceeding rupees 10 crores during the financial year as per the financial statement. So one has to be very careful about it. Now there were three cases where it came to us and they had not filed the caro report. They were under the impression that if the company fulfills any one of the conditions, if any one of the conditions, then it is not liable for the caro reporting. But that was not the case. That was not the case. And you to claim exemption, all three conditions must be fulfilled. That means, sir, if the paid up capital is more than 1 crore and the rest all are not complied with, still the company has to follow the caro report and all this, sir. Then, sir, this is about the internal auditor, sir. Internal auditor. Now, internal auditor, there is one bright line that internal auditor need not be always an outside agency. Of course, it's always desirable that it is an outside agency, but normally internal auditor it may be appointed by a company. So I don't know whether I mentioned this or not, but it is mentioned very clearly and explicitly that even the company's employee could be also the internal auditor. So every listed company, though, let every unlisted company will, but every private limited company we focus here. Turnover is of 2 crore, 200 crore or more during the preceding financial year, and outstanding loans are the borrowing from the company of exceeding 100 crore rupees or more at any point of time during the preceding financial year. So these are the things to be kept in mind, and because we also have to report whether the company has an internal audit or not, sir. can an employee of the company be an internal auditor? Yes. For the purpose of this rule, the company's acts has defined, made it very clear that internal auditor can even be the employee could also be the internal auditor of the company. This is for the Prajapati ji. Prajapati ji.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that limit I have given the table once again here. So the rotation of auditors should be 50 crore rupees or more. Yeah. Just can you
Yeah.
this is a table giving this is 25 crore, 50 crore. It's not 25 crore, 50 crore. Both should be 50 crore rupees. Paid up capital or the loan from the public and the financial institution is not more than it. If it is more than 50 crore rupees, then the auditor is liable for the rotation. Because आम तौर पे प्रजापति जी, I don't know about your experience, but many forum when I go or meet people, वो तो सब वो तो public listed company के लिए सर ऐसी गलत फहमी हो सकती है. I don't blame members for that because there are so many limits in our life. इतनी सीमा और रेखाएं हमारी जिंदगी में आती है, वो जीएसटी में आती है, इनकम टैक्स में आती है, कंपनीज एक्ट में आती
Company.
है, and they keep on changing this. They keep on changing it. Sometimes it is linked with the current year's turnover, sometimes with the immediate preceding turnover. Like small company, it is with the immediate preceding turnover. So you have to in fact I've seen that there are many masters in Excel who can do this by running the macros and all this. Brother Deepak, could you see that link which I shared with you?
Yes.
Is there on Prajapati Sahib Vapi
Yes.
2? Okay.
Yes, sir.
तो प्लीज शेयर विद दिस.
Yeah.
कोई काम नहीं, मेरा तो काम केवल भूमिका इतनी है, सूत्रधार में कर रहा हूँ
मैं
सर.
व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप में शेयर करूंगा. Yes,
You
sir.
share it because
Yeah,
this great job done by the ICI WRC, and I think Mr. Vishal Doshi also had taken an active part, and second active part was taken by the Chintan Patel in framing this. Of course, there are other members also who had contributed a great deal in developing this tool. But make this tool, and I have found personally when I give this exercise to people in my office, preparation of the cash flow statement, see, normally people, if they don't find the proper accounting of, they adjusting the cash in tax payment. I've seen many cases that adjustment is normally made in the tax paid column, but this tool will give you how to prepare the cash flow statement also. It's a huge support from the WRC, and which must be used by all the members, and that will be a great help to all of you, sir. Now, regarding cost audit also, now again there is a regulated and unregulated sector. But if you go to the cost audit rules, there are two schedules, Schedule A and Schedule B. There you find, but one big relief that this cost audit report is not applicable to the companies which turnover in foreign exchange turnover has exceeded 75%. The income from the export is more than 25%, then the cost audit rules are normally not applicable. This is about the rules, the limits of the export I'm telling you about. The one which is operating from the special operating zone, economic zone, and engaging the electric and all this is fine. Now, Prajapati sir, Chairman sir, with your permission, I want to now go for a little extempo, and I want to discuss some live cases of the problems which is faced by the members at large or in general from your forum. Otherwise, I have something at the back of my mind which I can definitely share with you. Prajapati sir?
Yes, sir.
Is any member want to issue or discuss any case specifically, or I will then tell you where they are, they make some kind of an error, or where there is a scope of improvement for report.
You can share your case law, sir.
हाँ?
आपके पास जो केस लॉज है वो शेयर करिए.
Case laws नहीं, जो
केस स्टडी या प्रैक्टिकल.
Common places where the mistakes are being done, right, sir? The first common thing is that, and second thing, sir, yesterday, in fact, yesterday and the day before yesterday, this was discussed at some another forum. When it comes to the tax audit, sir, people think that the accounting standard compliance is not required. Now we have the FRRB, right? Financial Reporting and Review Board. In the same manner, on the same ground, Institute has come out with a new board, and that is the Tax Audit Report Board, TAR compliances. ICA is going to vouch and select certain tax audit reports. CAG is also taking and selecting many tax audit reports. So in this case, be very careful that we should always have the accounting policies for the tax audit clients. Now, the big challenge would be how to convince client about that. But friends, it's not an Herculean task. You can always say that all that you to do is just make a mention of what you are doing. We all know that private limited companies have to follow the accrual system of accounting, correct?
Correct.
You write, and of course there are three. Okay, the common error which I find somewhere anywhere, and unfortunately I found in my three reports also. I'm sorry about that. Uh, that the accounts have been prepared on the accrual basis. Now GCA, going concern, consistency, and accrual are the fundamental assumption of accounts need not be mentioned. Even if you don't mention, please, it is not that you have done some आपने कुछ गलती है कुछ कुछ problem किया, it is not non-compliance. So don't mention that accounts are being prepared on the accrual basis or the going concern basis and all this. Now hello.
Ajay.
No, fine. This is changed because
Sir, sir,
let me complete one thing.
okay, okay.
I'll take your issue. I'll invite you in the hot seat. So don't mention this, that going concern, accrual, and the consistency. But some people still feel that fine, sir. Agar likha to kya harm? That's fine. Likha to koi naam nahi, but one should avoid that. And secondly, avoid the wording used by as certified by the management. Okay, sir. Please go ahead now. Someone wanted to ask me some question.
Sir, one queries is there. Mr. Keul Hapani is asking, can the company act as guarantor with bank for the OD taken by the firm, wherein director of the company?
Yes, so I would say company A Limited, A Private Limited, has given a guarantee to bank for loan or the financial facilities available by the partnership firm, right? And that
Yes, sir.
partnership firm is B. Okay, the company A Private Limited has given a guarantee to bank C, okay, for the financial facilities available by the firm B. Correct? Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
That is the query.
And what is the relationship between A and B?
Yeah, all directors are partners there, sir.
All the so this is turning out to be a related party.
Related party.
And in this case you have to make a disclosure. And okay, so one more thing, sir. I wanted to mention this today also, but I forgot something. But it's there in my note. And Prajapati sir, ये आप ही ने याद दिलाया था. That section 188, which is dealing with the related parties. 188, which is related, section 188, which deals with related parties. In this case, earlier there was a requirement of the special resolution, but now it is only ordinary resolution. So a company has to get a mandate from the shareholders by way of ordinary resolution. So there is a big relief. Again, a bigger relief is, Prajapati bhai, if you remember this, we have discussed about a month back. You say Yagnesh bhai, and yesterday you mentioned, please mention. Section 188 says that if the shareholders, promoters of the company are either 90% of the shareholders or the related shareholders are related parties or relatives or related parties. I rephrase. If 90% of the shareholders are either the related parties or relatives, then section 188 is not applicable to such private limited companies. Just keep this in mind, and this will remove the huge burden from you all, because in majority of company, Prajapati sir, you see either is a husband wife or father son or the family, करेक्ट, एंड
correct.
वो उनको करना पड़ता है क्योंकि दैट इज अ मैंडेट बाय द बैंक और द लैंडिंग इंस्टीट्यूशन के, अगर आप ये करेंगे तो ठीक रहेंगे. एंड मान लीजिए इवन इफ इट इज नॉट, दे आर नॉट रिलेटिव, 188 is not also applicable to the business done in the ordinary course of activities. Any transaction entered into the ordinary course of business activities are also not covered by section 188. But ये 188 का सर ने मुझे खास कहा था, because this amendment has been brought very recently, maybe about in 19 or 2018 or 2019. So this, just keep in mind that don't have a burden of the related party transactions where the shareholders are mostly the related parties in all this. So the common error which normally we find we make mistake is that we don't refer to the significant accounting policies, and you can always tell your client for the tax audit report also. See, it did not be very exhaustive like the one which is there in the index, but I think you should make few a list of few select accounting policies concerning the revenue recognition. This is recognized on the accrual on the basis of accrual, and more so when the risk and reward is transferred, and make it little very little exhaustive note, little, not just one line note. Then the second note could be for the property plant equipment, the third for the intangible assets, because हर company के पास software रहते हैं. Then the fourth about the employee benefits, then about the borrowing cost, then about the contingency provisions, assets and one other thing. Then foreign exchange transactions are the very common, and then थोड़ा गर्म पानी लाऊं, हाँ. Then about the cash and cash equivalents and all these provisions आ गया. So at least 10 to borrowing 10 to 11 standards are there for which you make a little disclosure, because even in the audit tax audit report, when you write there is one of the requirement of the tax audit report is say, okay, along with the notes, so you are certifying some numbers along with the notes which is appearing in the books of, in the notes to the account. So there also in the tax audit report also, if you read the form 3CD, उसमें जिक्र किया गया है along with the notes. Now अगर notes ही नहीं है तो आप कहाँ क्या करेंगे सर? So just for your safety, for client तो सब कोई एक बात है, अपने होने वाला है नहीं कभी, and if anything comes to you, the onus will be on you to decide and defend yourself. And sir, let me tell you, cases are going rampant. Cases are going rampant, and sometimes due to professional rivalry or due to the rivalry among the business people, you will be the scapegoat for that. तो एक ये बात है कि tax audit is considered as is an attestation function, and as per the requirement, if I am not mistaken, paragraph 10.9 of the guidance note on the tax audit compliance, guidance note on tax, paragraph 10.9 of the tax audit compliance, if I'm not mistaken, makes very clear that tax audit being an attestation function, member has to make sure that the entity complies with the accounting standards. So लिख दीजिए सर, and the more the merrier. It's always going to improve your quality. I know it's a cumbersome task, more so when the tax audit report की प्रजापति सर आप बात करो तो उसके compliances कितनी बड़ी मात्रा में बढ़ गए. पहले 10-15 क्लॉजेज या 20 क्लॉजेज थे, अब तो कितने डिटेल में हो गए. गनीमत है वो आपसे टैली नहीं मांगते सर.
Yes, sir.
है ना, इतनी
Yes, sir.
मांगते हैं, इतनी डिटेल मांगते हैं कि ये भूल जाइए. So Prajapati sir, I have promised what two things to you before. One is the gentleman from Rajasthan, that the penalties and the prosecutions and all this, right, sir?
Yes, sir.
Penalties, prosecutions, and what are the fines and all this, right? Okay. And second, we are also about to close the sample audit report for these small and medium enterprises. So audit report for mainly
And MRL, sir. Management representative.
and management representative.
Three things.
So this management representative, Mr. Vipul Doshi, RCM has helped me. Vishal Doshi.
Sure.
So let me speak to him, and I think he has also his own site or something like that. That you get so many things. I'll go to share with you another website, wherein there will be templates published by the ICI and the WRC. So this will going to help you a lot. Sir, बहुत दिक्कत आती है हमें एक कारो रिपोर्टिंग में सर आप थोड़ा ध्यान रखें बिकॉज कंटिजेंट लायबिलिटी सर नहीं लिखते सर, लिटिगेशंस के पैराग्राफ नहीं लिखते सर, केवल आपको यही लिखवाना है कि इट मे नॉट हैव मटेरियल इम्पैक्ट सर एज पर द लीगल एडवाइस थॉट, एज पर द लीगल advice sought by the management. The management hereby say that it is not going to have any impact on the of the litigation on the company's financial position. An auditor's job is simply to fact, and then sir this had you have to be very careful where the matter has come to the public notice and the media. When the matter comes to the media and public notice, uh, uh, I have seen the practice of the some big firms, big reputed firms of chartered accountants who got experience more than 70 years, 50 years, and so. So there, that team also visit the website of the company and also see that what is there in the company, kahan kya likha hai, wo nahi hoti. So these are some care you have to exercise. Export promotion council, export of the capital goods may when the client has availed of the any duty exemption, capital export promotion of the capital good. So there, make sure that you mention about the contingent liability. Sir, I tell you one thing. Nobody may have seen your audit report. Nobody is likely to see your audit report. But when something goes wrong,
So then only.
then only. So there's a Murphy's rule that if something has to go wrong, it will go wrong. करेक्ट. तो तब सर आप ये आर्ग्यूमेंट नहीं कर पाएंगे कि सर वो सर इतने साल की रिपोर्ट में गया, जिस तरह आप मेरे देखो ना 90% रिपोर्ट बराबर है बट ये 10% में तकलीफ आई, सर वहां परसेंटेज काम में नहीं आएगी सर, कुछ मायने नहीं रखेंगे. करेक्ट. एंड नाउ दिस काइंड ऑफ गारंटीज एंड ऑल दिस, I tell you one thing, Caro 73, 76, 185, 186, and just be very, very careful about this. Don't simply sign of this thing. And I think I got one more session on deposits and 185 and 186. Only on these three sections, there is a 3 hour seminar. Only on three sections 73, 185, 186. This seminar is on the 10th of July with our honorable Central Council member Durgesh Kabraji for some Surat Textiles Association. Is there. So there also, if sir, if anything is required after that for your Malad chamber, let me know. I'm willing to dwell and repeat that session. सेक्शन 73, 185 and 186, केवल 3 सेक्शन पे आप सोचिए अगर इतना डेलिब्रेशन होगा तो आप सोचिए कि I mean I would say for 73 and 76 I need 1 day. I need 1 day for that.
Full day.
Full day. That complicated that standard is. And non-compliance could be devastating. जैन साहब आप हिल जाएंगे जिन्होंने मुझे प्रश्न पूछा कि भाई बताइए इसकी जो फाइन्स वगैरह कैसे होते, वो फाइन्स खोखे में होती है सर, खोखे में 1 crore.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So Prajati bhai, if any members have any
Yeah,
queries,
any questions, members, please?
yes. So एक मैं बता रहा था ना, एक बता रहा था, one more thing.
हाँ जी.
Regarding deposit, regarding deposit, there is a rule 2 into bracket C into bracket Roman 8, 2C8. It says that you should have a declaration from the director who has given the loan to the company. Not only director, but his relative also can give the loan to the company, provided the money they have not
Borrowed.
not given the money from the borrowings. Correct? They have
Okay.
not given money from the borrowings or the loans. But the word advance is missing there. The word advance is missing there. So if they have taken any advance from any other party for the loans, for any of the properties or something like that, they
Then-
can very well use this section. The word use are only loans or borrowings, and borrowings does not include the word advance.
Advance.
Advance is for something else. So there, yes, people take compliances certificate declaration from the directors that they have not given this money from the loans or the borrowings and they have given from their own savings. Fine. Director or even the relatives. But इसका जिक्र बोर्ड रिपोर्ट में नहीं है. तो आपको एडवाइस करना है क्लाइंट को कि इसका जिक्र बोर्ड रिपोर्ट पे होना चाहिए. The company has borrowed money from the directors under so and so, and it is exempt under section sub rule chapter 5 rule 2 into bracket C into bracket 8. करेक्ट. तो ये छोटी छोटी ध्यान है आप बात करेंगे ना तो क्लाइंट दिस विल इंप्रूव द क्वालिटी ऑफ योर थिंग्स. So be careful about seeing. So Sirji and the new chairman, sir, the new president incoming elect, sir. If you want, we can on section 73, 185, 186, we can have one special session of maybe 3 hours, or I can shorten it also.
Yes, sir. Yagnesh. Yes, next time we'll, sir, organize one more program
Yeah.
about the company law. Anything else, members?
And sir, one simple advice: ask your team members to sit down with Division 1, Schedule 3 to the Companies Act. Division 1, Schedule 3 to the Companies Act, guidance note. Make them sit down with this. That's it. Because then this will take care of so many compliances like presentation requirement and all this, which will help them a lot. So the problem for the small and medium practitioners today is that they don't get the format of the financial statements, which is audited by some other companies, or even notes to accounts, or even auditor's report. Because पहले क्या था सब वो listed company के ले लेते थे, because listed company were also following the AS and the clients also were following the AS. Now listed company के आपके जो है they are all following the Ind AS, whereas private limited companies you don't get from the public domain. And sir, मैं ऐसा नहीं कहता हूँ कि लोग कॉपी करते हैं, नहीं सर, हम भी करते हैं कॉपी, हम भी देखते हैं. Even for this thing I have relied on so many public domain documents and all this. But copy करते इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि you don't know it. No, it's not like that. You always like to improve your presentation. You always like to improve your disclosures, and so you will try to see from more than one resources कि इसका रिपोर्ट में क्या लिखा है, इसका रिपोर्ट में क्या लिखा है, ये रिपोर्ट में क्या लिखा है, उन्होंने कैसे डिस्क्लोज किया. You like to always have look at it, right, sir? And अनफॉर्चुनेटली हमें ना सीए लोग को जरा शर्म आती है एक दूसरे से डिस्कस करने के लिए ना. प्रजापति भाई को एक पूछूं वो क्या सोचेंगे मेरे लिए, प्रजापति भाई सोचेंगे मैं यज्ञेश भाई को कैसे पूछूं वो क्या मेरे लिए सोचेंगे, मेरे इम्पेयरमेंट तो नहीं कर देंगे ना मेरा ऐसे. तो आपस में सलाह मशवरा होना ही चाहिए. Does not mean कि you don't know a law or act to the provision, but you like to make sure होना है कि ये बराबर करे कि नहीं.
Anything else, sir? Members? Any? Okay. Sir, we'll conclude.
Yes, sir. We'll.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you for sparing your valuable time and enlightening our members.
But sir, I wanted this to be very interactive session, sir.
Yeah, but today I don't know. Our core team is busy in some other GST lectures, I think.
Oh.
Parallel, there is one more lecture.
points भी हमारे cover हो जो थोड़ी mistake हो रही थी हमारी वो भी cover हो रही है. काफी अच्छा है.
Okay, sir. Thank you for your valuable time.
My
Thank you, members, for attending the session.
Yeah.
Sir, आपके लिए मुस्कान का कोई मोल नहीं होता, रिश्तों का कोई तोल नहीं होता. लोग तो मिल जाते हैं हर मोड़ पे, लेकिन हर कोई आपकी तरह अनमोल नहीं होता. Thank you, sir. Thank you for always you have supported me in past also, and we expect the same support and cooperation to the new
anytime,
Yes.
anytime, always.
Members, there are some two announcements. On 2nd July, we have organized one panel discussion on practice strategies jointly with AIFT West Zone and GSTPM 5 to 7. And on 4th July, we have our AGM 10 to 12 on Zoom platform. Kindly attend in large number. Now I'll request our Secretary Jitendra Pulia to present very well deserved vote of thanks. Jitu bhai, please.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Desai sir, thank you. You have the way you have explained the very nice and lucid matter. Sir, it requires a lot of efforts to explain very important compliance of Companies Act. Thank you for sharing your valuable time and knowledge. Now, on behalf of MCTC, I thank you, Desai sir, and all the participants who has attended this webinar. Thanks, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone.
Sir, I'm
Yes, sir.
happy that this was the last session, the last program during your tenure.
Yes, sir.
And I
This is the
think
last.
your tenure is going to get over on 30th of June. Am I right, sir?
Yeah, 4th July is our AGM. At that time,
4th
new
July.
team will take over.
And all the very best to the incoming president, sir. God bless you, sir. Kem so,
you, sir.
Girish bhai.
Suresh bhai, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. It was very excellent session, sir. Really.
My
Yeah,
pleasure, sir. My pleasure. My
Thank you,
pleasure.
sir. Thank you.
Yes, sir. You take.
પ્રજાપતિભાઈ, 2-3 વસ્તુ છે, I'll share with you, sir.
Yeah, please, I will remind
બોલો,
you, sir,
sir.
after a week.
એક 10 દિવસનો ટાઈમ આપો. we'll
હા
share.
હા સર, આપણને 2-3 ચાર્ટ આપવાના છે, મોડેલ ઓડિટર્સ રિપોર્ટ, MRL. So then we will share it among all members. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Viresh bhai. Thank you all the members.
Thank you. Okay, bye.